Hello and welcome to the channel. Today we're going to see how to organize your drawers for your tools, how to make custom tool trays, because if you're anything like me, you have got tools that are different brands and everything, and those tool trays that you buy are expensive. Moreover, they take more space than needed, and if you buy more tools, those trays don't work. We're going to see how to organize these drawers by making custom trays and not have this mess coming up. If you're new to the channel, my name is Jimmy and you're watching Jimboyrulez. Today, as I mentioned, we're going to make custom trays for your drawers to organize your tools. Now, everyone's tools are a little different, so I'm going to show you how to organize it for sockets and some other bits and bobs. I'm sure you'll find the basic concept of how to do it, and then you'll be able to make those same trays for your tools. So here are some of the things you will need before you start the project, and they are, so we've got some foam pad, some more foam pad, which is slightly thinner than these. I'll show you everything in detail, and I will have the links in the description below. Glue and X-ACTO knife. First, you got to measure the width and the depth of this drawer so you know how big of a tray to make. So be precise. The more precise you are with your measurements, the more precise your tray is going to be. This is the easier way of doing this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to put the red thinner pad inside and mark it accordingly. So now here we see this overlaps a little bit. What I'm going to do is I'm going to mark it so I know where to cut it. So I'm going to take a pencil and I'm going to mark it. Now, as you see, it's a little shorter as well. So I'm going to mark that as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this over here and then slide this underneath. Now, if you're smarter, then you just get the pad of a bigger size. So you don't have to make a jigsaw puzzle. They all came from the same pack, but you see there is a bit of a difference in size. That's not going to be a problem. So I'm going to take my Kobalt knife and cut it where we marked. Okay, so we have our end bits that would fit right here. So then once all of these are cut, just make sure that you cut it properly and you've got the right size. So this fits perfectly. It's not going to be red, it's going to be black on top. So bear with me, I'll show you how it's done. Now do the same thing with the foam pads. Now here we see the foam pad's just a tiny bit smaller in terms of the depth, and then it overlaps. That's all good. It will all come together. You won't even realize that it's a bit off. Then take a silver Sharpie and then mark it. I don't have any stickers on either side. If you have a sticker, then you want to mark it on the sticker side. You won't see any of the markings when we're done. Don't worry about it. We're going to cut it with our X-ACTO knife. You will have better luck cutting with this X-ACTO knife than with a blade. And this is more precision. And you see how easy it was compared to your blade? And you see it fits perfectly. And that's exactly how you want it. Now we're going to do the corner. So we're going to mark it up. Same way with the marker. Make sure you have a cutting board to cut it with, otherwise you will scratch up the finish on your cabinet or whatever top you're working on. You see how easy it is? Go over it once again so it separates. So now we have our strips for the end. So these strips would go right in and like so. And once you glue it all up, it won't be visible. And we're just putting this so that this tray does not keep moving back and forth. Now we're going to see how we want our tools to lay in here. Because we don't want these silver markings to be visible, so we're just gonna be marking it on one side. Then we're gonna do some more marking with the tools down. First, we're gonna arrange the tools in here the way we want them. Then we're gonna mark them. So we're gonna have sockets in here. So let's arrange the sockets the way we'd like them. That's exactly why you need a custom tray in the drawer so that you don't drop your tools like that. So the trick is to make sure that they're in the same line because they're all the same size. I'm gonna mark where it ends. I'm just using this because it was here. You could use a ruler or a scale. Now, I'm gonna mark it. So we'll repeat the same process again with these. So once you have marked and made a layout of all your tools that you want in there, remove the tools and start cutting. So we removed all the tools. This is the marking. Let's remove this, put it up on the cutting board, and then let's cut this out. We're going to start cutting. The trick is that you see this silver line? You want to cut inside of the silver line. It's always nice to cut less and then have to increase it or make it bigger. If you make it bigger, you cannot make it smaller. So now, we're technically going to put it the wrong way around. So let's test fit it and see how the tools, the sockets fit in and how it looks. And then if everything looks good, we will then go and glue things up. Now this drawer is ready to be glued. So this is ready, it looks perfect. We could glue the gray bit to the red bit and then it will be perfect. But this was for illustrative purposes only. This is probably not how I would have my tools. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna quickly do the way I would like it. So I would put all my sockets in one drawer and then all my tools. And I won't bore you with it, so don't worry. And then I'll show you how to glue it all together. So for my final tray, I'm going to use these big foams to make my trays, custom trays. The reason is that now you can do it both ways. You can make it the way I showed you, like with smaller pieces, turn it into a jigsaw. And then there are other ways to get a bigger piece like this one and then cut it into a smaller bit. That way you have one whole piece, whichever is comfortable for you. So I'm going to link both the foams in the description below, so do check it out, and whatever you find convenient, you can use that method. So we took measurements at the beginning of the video, and based on that measurements, I'm going to cut the foam into a smaller piece. Okay, so our foam bit is all cut, and the side that we marked the foam on, like this side where there's like all the markings from the marker. We're gonna have the marked side up, and then we're just gonna glue the red foam that we cut before. I'm gonna start with the bigger ones. I'm gonna use normal glue. So with this glue, I'm just going to lay it down. It does not require a lot. And in all honesty, you could probably get away with not even gluing it together. Once the glue is settled, delicately pick it up and stick it in. Now, these might not look perfectly square. They start curving and everything. That's totally normal. Don't worry about it, because once you put the tools in, they will take the perfect shape. Give you an example. Now we have, for the second tray that we are making, we're using the hot glue gun. I just wanted to show you both the tricks, like put glue on one and hot glue gun, use this on the other one. The only basic benefit of the hot glue gun is that it would glue it up and it would fix it quicker. So as soon as I put the hot glue, it would start drying, and it would take literally seconds before it dries up. Whereas the normal glue that I used in the previous tray, it would take hours to dry and stick. This can get really hot, so be careful. Like right now it's not hot, so we're just waiting for it to warm up. But once it becomes hot, it could burn you, so be very careful. This is a glue gun that I've just ordered on Amazon. It's like a $6 glue gun, so nothing special over here. Put the glue on the side, we've got the markings. As I mentioned, you don't need to glue all this up. You can just stack it up without gluing it, and it will just be fine. But if you want it to be a bit more of a permanent feature, that's when you start gluing things up. So this is the finished product. It looks really good. I'm probably going to at some point put stickers on the foam pad so I know what size is what. But this is the end product, and I really like it. It's easy. If I'm missing a tool, it will show easily, and that was the whole purpose of it. It stays organized. So Brenda, who's one of the subscribers, wanted to know how this has been fitted. So in here, those bolts basically fit this cabinet onto the wall. So those two bolts that I showed go into the studs, and then this is installed. So same way all of these are put onto the studs. Now, the second question was, how is this corner worktop installed? There's a gap there, right? If you look underneath, they come with a bracket like so, which attaches to the cabinet, and then with these bolts, and then you screw them up to the corner worktop. That's exactly why there are two cabinets and there are two brackets on each side which screw onto that corner shelf. I wish they did it a bit differently so that there was no gap. It is what it is. I mean, I don't mind it. It's a waste of space. I just put empty boxes there. If you have any more questions, let me know. So we've hit 50 subscribers, actually. Last I checked today, it's 52 subscribers. Thank you so very much. I consider all of you subscribers as my family, so I'm very happy. I'm actually more happy than YouTubers reaching 1 million subscribers. These are my first 50, and they're all my close and dear ones, so I'm very, very happy. Next target is 100. So if you're new to this channel, if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe for more such videos. My next video, I have a few videos lined up. I review the Focus RS video coming up. There is also, we go to Sac Raceway. We do drag racing over there, so that's the video that's coming up. And then there's also a similar video to today's video where I show you how to make custom tool trays, but this is a bit tricky and a bit more advanced. So how do you make trays for your spanners, wrenches, ring spanners, and everything? So that's going to be an interesting one. I still have to shoot that one, so that would be a couple of weeks probably. Please do subscribe because there's some exciting stuff coming up. Well, thank you for watching. See you later. Ciao.